Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the news after the news. This is Whispers 87.7 FM. My name is Uche Nogo. And you know how we do it when we have some news stories, we have conversations. Now, Nigerians yesterday woke up again to reports of another fuel price increase linked to the Dangote refinery. And as expected, the ripple effect were already being felt across transportation, food, and small businesses and household survival. So for millions of citizens already struggling, battling inflation, electricity, rising rent, and all of that, they woke up to this extra hardship. Commercial drivers, would I say they took advantage? Prices were double the price. And so many Nigerians are saying the hardship became harder even still. Well, to help us unpack this issue, to look at it critically this afternoon, is our own analyst, Barrister Segun Ilori. Is with us this afternoon. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Yes. Welcome to the news after the news. So, Barrister, Nigerians they're reacting strongly to the latest fuel price increase, even though we hear there's been a reduction. However, people are still reacting. Why is petrol price so emotionally and economically sensitive to Nigerians?
Oh, thank you very much. We know this after petroleum subsidy removal, it means that Nigerians are going to pay for what they consume in PMS. And you know the recent US-Iran war has created a ripple effect in the oil and gas industry. So this is the impact of that, because as you know, the Strait of Hormuz reduces. There's no movement of vessels carrying oil, so there's a lot of shake-up in that in the oil and gas, and that is the issue. We provide. Nigeria is a sort of producing country. We provide the oil and we export, and that's where we get the income for Nigeria. And also, that is what Dangote also depends on some imports of petroleum to process, because he's not getting the full amount of what he needs to process. So he's going to pay in dollars. And this is a dollar economy in terms of petroleum. It's not localized. The input is in dollars, the output is also in dollars. So it means that what happens in the global community in terms of oil and gas will affect Nigeria. So it shows the ripple effect of what is going on. And what will have, and so if this war goes on, I'm afraid that prices of fuel will continue. Particularly that we don't have enough oil, petroleum, to process locally. You can see what's the problem. The output. There was a time we used to produce 2 million barrels per day. Now, because of a lot of issues, pipeline vandalism and all that, I think it's hovering between 1.2 now and 1.3 million barrels per day. From there, we'll give to Dangote to process. From there, it's going to be exported to bring foreign exchange to the Nigerian economy. So that's the product that we depend on to bring foreign exchange to it. So it's a dicey situation, but I believe that over time it's going to ease off as soon as this war gets sorted out.
Some people say that Nigerians are no longer living, they are merely surviving. Will that be an exaggeration?
Well, what it means to us is that we need to look inwards. We relied on this product, and it's an elite-based issue. Cars, everybody. The people in the rural areas who go to their farms with bicycles, and so on, they are not likely to have these impacts. But here in urban cities, in major towns, we rely on our vehicles. So it means that there must be a shift, which is where the problem is. After we have removed the fuel subsidy, a lot of investment ought to have gone into mass transit, which, even though it was promised, is not coming. So mass transit, railways, the Abuja rail ought to be working. There should be trams all over the place now in cities. You can see that Lagos, for instance, is a bit more responsive because the train system has worked hard. So we need that kind of in Abuja, in major cities. Let government invest these all subsidy savings into mass transit. That is the solution.
Why is this not being done? Is it that government doesn't have the willingness to do it?
I really can't understand. You need to bring government...
From your perspective as a Nigerian and even as a lawyer.
The point is that you need to know what they face. Maybe they are facing challenges, I don't know, in terms of time of delivery of this. Because really, those things are not for the asking. There need to be budgetary provision. There need to be a timeline to deliver. And this government is just going to be 3 years old. So maybe in terms of alignment of policies, maybe there's a gap between what you say and implementation. I don't know. Those who are in government will be able to give that a factor. Why? Because the president has promised that they were going to do CNG and all that. They were going to pump out the buses and so on.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing those buses. Some people are saying we don't see those buses.
Maybe government needs to do more.
I think your station needs to invite some of these personalities, if they are available, let them come and give information. What's going on?
Absolutely.
There's a gap between policy and implementation. By now, with those subsidy savings, mass transit should be like dropping like water. This rail system should have absorbed a lot of people on the road so that people don't have to bring their cars into cities every day. Maybe people will park their cars somewhere and there will be train service. Trams in Abuja should be moving. The Federal Secretariat, for instance, should have been linked with Kuje and all those places so that there are a lot of people, mass movement, instead of everybody bringing their cars.
Yeah.
That will reduce the dependence on PMS. That hasn't happened, and that's why the pain is on the people.
You talk about parking their cars and alternate transport means. Yeah. So many Nigerians would complain that citizens are constantly asked to sacrifice while government officials, they live extravagant lifestyles and spend a lot. Does this weaken public trust?
Well, you need to prove that. Yes, we see them on gleaming cars all over the place. But also, if you send people, Yoruba say that if you send somebody on an errand, you must give him facility to perform. So you don't expect these public officials to trek on the road to deliver the service that you are giving to them. So there must be provision for their mobility. There must be provision. So I don't see that. But what should concern us is whether they are doing the work. Is at the National Assembly people delivering the job from which they have been given? Are they doing oversight, for instance? Since they know that there's pain now on the public, are they discussing how to ease the living standard of the people? Are they putting oversight on Ministry of Transport, whether these vehicles are coming, whether the buses are there? Are they looking at Nigerian Railway, whether they can deliver? So the oversight, there should be a lot of delivery from the executive branch, and the National Assembly should be able to supervise them. So those are the gaps that we need to fix in public policy and public implementation of policies, so that the people can feel the impact. If the mass transit is there and is cheaper, there are a lot of civil service that service that comes on daily basis with their transport. So I think that's the focus. We will continue to complain over price increase and all that, and there's a ripple effect on inflation. Because even though in the rural communities they bring their food products, how do they move it to urban centers? That's where the gap, transport gap is. So we need to focus. And the thing that baffles me is that a lot of subsidies, savings have gone to the states, governors and so on. Are they investing it in the people? Are they investing in providing social services, in palliatives to people, so that this pain of the oil increases and the fuel increases can be lessened on people? That is where civil society groups, public institutions like the media must focus their attention on. Governors should be made, not everything, everybody is talking about federal government, Tinubu administration. What about the governors who got a lot of the allocation from the savings public? That's where I'm really concerned. The state government should be building roads, they should be buying buses for civil servants, should be, investing.
So citizens should turn their attention on state governors.
Yes, because they are the one that's getting the bulk of the money. I mean, President says every time, oh, we're giving service, and we see it. It's been published that many of these subsidy services are going to the states. So people, I mean, what you see is that, they go and build bridges and all that, big airports and all that, which is still servicing the elite. We are not seeing state government investing in trams, in mass transit buses and so on. We are not seeing much of that. That is the one that citizens, the public people, the people at home in those rural areas can depend on.
Okay.
So we need our attention. The media, the civil society groups, instead of everybody coming to Abuja, should put searchlight on the states.
All right. So at what point does economic hardship become a security risk for the country?
It is already a security risk.
How bad?
It's very bad. That's why you can't. You have two cars now. You can't sleep with your two eyes closed now. So, and social tension comes when there is economic depression. There's social tension. There's tension in the families. There's tension in society, in neighborhoods, because it creates. When the people lack, and they cannot make their ends meet, it creates tension all over the place. So it's a security issue already. And a lot of people that are into crimes now use it as an example or as a reason why they have to feed, even though that's not an excuse. But that is what it is. So the economy, the people that are earning their legitimate income cannot even be free to move around in society because of these miscreants that have been created by social pressure.
So, are there concerns about monopoly or overdependence on one dominant refinery player?
Yeah, the refinery, I'm not sure that is the problem, because it can actually meet that, the capacity of Dangote can meet the needs of Nigerians if they get the petroleum to refine. However, the there are so many private refineries coming up, modular refineries that are on the. As it turns out, I'm Secretary of Crude Refineries Association of Nigeria.
Okay.
I know there are a lot of modular refineries that are coming up. Government needs to encourage those ones to get funding, to get a lot of support from regulatory bodies. And recently now I heard NNPC is trying to revive Port Harcourt refinery and so on, which is like pumping money into dead woods. This is a sinking cesspool of corruption that has been seen. It's been said all over time. But the refineries have got so much billions of naira that they've not been working, and then you want to start again. I think that's wrong. That's another wrong policy that the NNPC is trying to do. It's either you privatize, sell them off. People have suggested this over time, and it's not a brainer at all. Sell them off and let it come into government coffers. Let government use this to support the local refineries, crude oil refineries. The money you want to pump into reviving Warri refinery and Port Harcourt, if they convert it and give it as support to modular refineries who are ready to set up those refineries in local communities, so that there will be less dependence on Dangote. It means that some of the refineries that are based in the Niger Delta area will be able to service their immediate communities. And so there will be less, and the price will come down, diesel and so on. So instead of reviving the Port Harcourt refinery, and we need to make the media needs to focus on that. You know, there was a time they said, "Oh, refinery is on board again, is lifting oil," only to discover now that was a ruse. So we cannot blame Dangote that invested his money and is still not getting supply for petroleum to refine. But we need to encourage more crude oil refiners to come into the business. And many of them that have even invested their money now have been frustrated because they don't have feedstock. The NNPC is not giving them, the oil producing company are not giving them fuel the petroleum to refine. So that is the solution. Let's get more people into that business. Let's encourage those who are there already, and let us provide funding that we stop investing in those moribund Port Harcourt and Warri refinery.
Can Nigeria realistically achieve fuel price stability anytime soon?
It can, if there's a concerted effort, and that's the suggestion that we're giving. If the policy is, look, now that, for instance, export is difficult, first we must increase production. That's the way out. Increase production. If you can get to, for instance, 2.4 million barrels per day in short run, and that's why the NPRC, the regulatory bodies, federal government have been making a lot of efforts to increase production. If that comes into play and we have more production, then we can allocate more of those increases to local refineries.
Okay.
But if we don't increase production and we still have to export to bring foreign exchange in, and the refineries are not getting feedstock, then we are in that trap that the stability will not be achieved over time.
All right, let's turn our attention to a recent viral video from Mokwa, which has sparked outrage and serious conversations after a senator was seen allegedly sharing $1 bills to supporters during a public gathering. So many Nigerians struggling daily with inflation, unemployment, and seeing those images quite disturbing, not necessarily because there was this was being shared, but because of what the moment appeared to represent. So my first question to you is, many Nigerians watch this Mokwa video with shock. From a legal standpoint, is there anything potentially unlawful about a politician sharing money publicly in that manner?
Well, we don't know. Social media, I don't want to believe everything I see on social media. There was an incident that happened nowadays. People are running and say, "Oh, it was a skit they were making." I got one this morning that they said people were shot in Jos, and then there was a police that said, "Oh, skit."
What if this wasn't
so?
Skit?
I'm just wondering that.
Yeah.
I don't want us to.
Okay.
I'm not going to put my weight too much on social media, films and videos in this era of AI, in this era of people manipulating things. But if that were true, let's say, for instance, what I would find reprehensible is that if a dollar has been shared, that is wrong, because in Nigeria, Naira is the
legal
tender that is used. If it's sharing dollars, as has been alleged, then it's due to be arrested, because it's like you are dollarizing the economy, and that CBN will frown at. You see that even where monies are being shared in public, pasting money on people's heads as social parties, EFCC goes after people like that.
Yeah.
So this is a candidate for EFCC questioning. If that is whatever is, if it's not governor that has immunity, if it's any other person, it's only governors that have immunity that you cannot arrest. But if it's any other person, I think the EFCC and the anti-corruption agencies are also watching this kind of video.
Yeah.
There's a legal issue there. You should go and face those scrutiny. And then, first, sharing dollars. Secondly, that you are bastardizing the Naira in terms of spraying money in a public gathering. There are better ways they could be done. Of giving. If you want to really empower people, You know, I mean, and this is the season of politics where people just think that this tokenism of sharing money and so on, they should do it in a dignified way. I mean, yes, sharing rice, you can't abuse anybody who gives you rice or food, even though people are making a jest of that. But this is, anybody who gives food now, please encourage them.
Are politicians weaponizing poverty?
I don't, well, the point is that whoever is hungry now cannot discriminate whether it is, and you just said it that, poverty is much, a lot of people are poor. So, in that situation, weaponizing poverty is a good, I mean, we use these languages like that as cliches, but the issue is that somebody who is hungry, he will get, anywhere he gets food, he will take it from there, because at least you must first satisfy whatever the issue is. So sometimes it's degrading to share money, to share food stuff in a manner that is making sure that it looks, make people, dignity degraded. But the issue is that if there's poverty in the land, people cannot refuse where food is given. But we must advise, even during this political period when people are tempted to just eat everything and sell their birthright, that they can still take these monies that are being given by politicians and still do the needful. And the needful is, don't give your support to people of questionable character or people who you have given their mandate before and they have not performed.
Have Nigerians become conditioned to handouts?
They are. That's unfortunately, that's the situation of things, because as I've told you, poverty breeds that kind of situation. So all that we need to do is to continue to counsel our people that, look, it is your money they are giving you. If they bring rice, if they bring anything, it's part of the money, but that should not make you to support those who are corrupt, to support those who have nothing to offer to society, to people who are using the funds that have been given to them to do things, to now divert it. I mean, and then during the election period, they begin to fritter them away and throw them on the streets. There should be a lot of caution about people selling, taking the freebies, and then they will sell their votes rights, and then they come back after 6 months to complain that they are suffering.
Okay. So, what practical steps can help Nigerians become more politically conscious and less vulnerable to exploitation as we wrap up?
Social education, let's do more education of our people. Let's get our civil societies to educate more. Let's get our media to educate people more. It should be part of the social service of your station, for instance, to run a campaign. Say no to free meals or free or something. Say no to corruption, kind of. Or let people know that they give you money at this time does not mean that you can take those monies and still do what is right. I'm not going to be one of those.
How many people take money and do what is right?
Because
the person is already induced or
no, there's no sign. You didn't sign anywhere that. So let's face it. I mean, you invite me to a ceremony now. You give me something. I carry it. I go away. It doesn't stir my conscience. See, the issue is a matter of conscience and people's will to do what is right. The people is that they have given you doesn't mean that they've when you go to your ballot, when you want to go and cast your ballot, they don't follow you to those. It's a secret ballot system. But they find a way, and then they will put them on oath. They put them on sort of rituals and so on and so forth. We have heard of that before. When people vote, I've participated in political systems before, political elections before, and people will say, "Oh, it's because they gave us to swear on cutlass. We kill them and all this, and they put all sorts of things." But that's fluke, because
you don't believe
I don't believe that.
Okay.
If they give you money, it's not as if I mean, you send someone to be in the House of Rep or House of Assembly, and he comes around to say, come and take money, and he say, put you on what basis? So people is education. People are afraid, people are just not doing the right thing. And when you are not doing the right thing, then you are afraid of whether you have been compromised and so on. I believe that people can still do the right thing even when they have received from these people. Let them know that the money they are being given is nobody.
Barrister, are you encouraging that?
Yes, I'm not. The money that they are giving, because you can't stop people from giving their money, and you cannot stop people. But let them know the purpose. That this purpose is not to sell your vote. Selling vote is an offense because it haunts you back. You are not. It's offense against yourself. It's against of your soul. It's against public. Some people will no longer perform if they just know that after 3-4 years in something, they'll give you more money again, and then you take 5,000, 10,000, take a sewing machine and so on. Yeah. Take Okada. Is that Okada that you sell it, and then some of them will even sell it after some time and use it to eat. So it's not enduring. What we should encourage is enduring gifts and so on, that things that can add value to people's lives.
Thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure having you here on the news, behind the news. I've been speaking with Barrister Segun Ilori, a public affairs analyst.